Okay, hey, I wanted to tell you today about one of my highly recommended nonfiction books for AP English Lang. Okay, when you take AP English Lang, a lot of different high schools, they require different works to read. Some they just focus all on like essays and articles and letters, which is great. And I know some of my colleagues do that at other high schools, even in my district. But if you get a chance and you're looking for a nonfiction book that is going to be really good for your own knowledge as a teenager and a young adult, and then also for AP Lang, I recommend Eric Schlosser's Fast Food Nation. In fact, one year, it was so funny. Uh, I had just gotten the book adopted for our district, and we read it that year. And then the next year, that class graduated. And then one of my former students, who was a freshman at Stanford, said he messaged me or emailed me through the school email, and he said, "Hey, Mr. Moody, you'll never guess who was a guest speaker here at my class at Stanford last week." And he sent me a picture of Eric Schlosser. So he's written a lot of different nonfiction sort of exposés. So that's really good. Let me get rid of this thing here and see if I can move it around. It is a great satire and expose of sort of the ripple effects of fast food on America and the globe. I remember when I was stationed in Spain, I was a Navy journalist before becoming a Marine ROTC scholarship recipient. And I had been there like 6 months, and I was kind of getting sick of the chow hall food. And someone said to me, "Hey, don't worry. They're opening McDonald's in Jerez de la Frontera." So that weekend, I had nothing to do. So, I'm like a kid. I had just turned 18. I took a bus like a half hour, and my broken Spanish asked the bus driver to point me in the direction of the McDonald's, and went and had a burger and fries. So it is a global enterprise now, and this nonfiction work discusses the history behind fast food in America and its effect on you as a teenager, our farmers, okay, nationwide, our waistlines, our families, our immigrants, both illegal and legal, and a lot more. The title of the book, here's my copy with all my Post-its. The dark side, the subtitle is "The Dark Side of the All-American Meal." So he says, a quote from the New Yorker: "This year, Americans will spend more on fast food than on higher education." Wow. This is a quote from a while ago, but it's probably not that far off now. Even with Boston University and USC into the $90,000 a year price range, Schlosser shows how the fast food industry conquered both appetite and landscape. So it was written over now 24 years ago. He is an investigative journalist, but still very relevant today, and I highly recommend it. It'll help you expose you to things like muckraking journalism. I think I was in Mrs. Higgins' history class in 8th grade, and she was talking about muckraking journalism and The Jungle, which was a book by Upton Sinclair. You may have learned about it in AP US History this year, or you may learn about it. Basically exposes all of the evils that happened in the meatpacking plants in the Chicago area during that time, the turn of the century. It is a satire, so you're taking something serious and you're sort of highlighting the negative effects of it, and even poking fun of it at times, like the fact that more kids can recognize Ronald McDonald than they can Jesus. So it was one of Time's top 100 nonfiction works and a New York Times bestseller, and something that you may be able to tie into a possible argument FRQ. Okay, we had one synthesis FRQ about the locavore movement. I know my daughter, who's now in college, her argument FRQ was about perfectionism. Certainly, that's something that McDonald's brothers were striving for when they built their first burger joint and set up a sort of the perfect assembly line process. And if you've been to the West Coast and you've had In-N-Out Burger, you know all about how perfect their burgers are. So I hope this is helpful. I'll try to attach this if I can. It's an interview with the author, and he's talking about, interestingly enough, a movie that was adapted based on some of the ideas of the book, but it's not a documentary by any chance, by any sense of the word. So please stay up on the reading if you're in my class, and if you're in at another school and you're looking for a nonfiction book that you could read between now and May 14th that might help you, give you ammunition for the argument FRQ or the synthesis FRQ, or just to be able to talk intelligently about the fast food industry and its effect on America, this is a good book.